Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Jo, this is Joey Sewy, and today I have a stash clear out and a giveaway for you. So it was my birthday in the last week, or actually it was my birthday in the last week when I'm filming this, and as part of that I just decided that I really needed to clear out my fabric stash. I don't have the biggest fabric stash in the world, but that's always a relative term, and there was a lot of fabric in there that was really good fabric but wasn't really inspiring me anymore, and that's where you come in, because as a result of me clearing out my stash, I have 2 whole boxes, which amounts to about 10 kilograms of fabric, that I am going to give away. I'm going to show you all the fabric here, and I've decided to make 3 videos in this series. This one is the giveaway and showing you the fabric that I have on offer, but also to make it a bit more interesting, I'm going to talk about the ideas that you could use the fabric for. Some are full pieces and some are smaller pieces. I can only post this within the UK because of the weight. If you were desperate to have it and you were worldwide and you wanted to pay the postage, then by all means you can still enter. How to enter, details will be at the end of the video. But in terms of true giveaway, I can only offer this to UK because I'm sorry, but the postage is going to be too heavy. But still watch on if you are elsewhere in the world, because there'll be lots of hints and tips. So there are going to be 3 videos. This one is all about the fabric. The second one is my top 10 stash busting patterns and ideas. And my third one is my favourite books with ideas for stash busting. So 3 videos all about getting through those pieces of your fabric that either are too small to use or are not inspiring you, that kind of thing. Let's get on with what I have on offer. So in these 2 boxes, I keep looking because they're down there. In these 2 boxes, I've mixed it up. There are wovens and there are knits in each box. There are full garment size pieces and there are smaller pieces in each box. Most of the pieces are full garment size pieces. I'm not filling the box full of rubbish. One of the boxes turned out to be a little bit more plains and the other one a little bit more pattern, because I kind of figured that some of you are going to be a bit more plain type people, not plain personality, obviously you're all sparkling, but that might be more your taste, or you might be more about the pattern, so we've got both. If you watch a lot of my videos, you're going to recognise a lot of this fabric, probably not all of it, because not everything has appeared, but you are going to recognise some. So I'm going to show you each piece fairly quickly because there's probably about 35 pieces to go through, and tell you what they are. Everything in this first section is box 1, and when you enter you need to tell me if you want to enter for box 1 or box 2. You can enter for both, but you will need to do 2 separate entries. That's how I want to try and do it, to keep it simple, I hope. I always make these giveaways far too complicated at this end and then regret it. So here we go. Box number 1 is the more plain items. I'm going to have it right down in front of me now and try not to mess it all up. I'm going to start with the larger pieces. Here we have some grey wool. It is pure new wool. It is made in England because it has it on the selvage. So it's pure wool, and this is a 1.5 metre by 1.5 metre piece. So you could get some trousers out of this, you could get a dress out of this, you could get a skirt or even a jacket. It is kind of suiting weight, pure wool piece of fabric. Second piece is some broderie anglaise, which means English embroidery. And this is 1 metre, but it's full width. So that is, I think it's a 1.4 metre width. It's kind of a cream colour, and it is pure cotton, and it's really pretty. So you could definitely get a short sleeve blouse out of that, depending on your size, or you could use it in another project, but there's enough to do a top out of the broderie anglaise. Cotton. Next we have some denim. Let me check, is this a stretch one? No, this is rigid denim. So as you can see, it is a dark indigo, but it has a texture to it, which is kind of like a bark cloth texture ish. It's a little bit bleached out due to the light, So the colour that you get back here is more like the colour, but if I bring it closer to the camera you can see the texture better. If you wanted to use the reverse, I quite like the reverse as well. It's much lighter, so you've got that option to use the reverse. Now I reckon it's not quite long enough to make full length trousers, but definitely long enough to make cropped trousers with a bit of clever cutting, probably only in smaller sizes, but would definitely make a skirt and possibly a denim jacket out of this. I've seen some really nice half or 3/4 length sleeve denim jackets in the shops at the moment. So tight to make trousers, but you could do it in smaller sizes, but plenty to make skirts or make a bag. There's about sort of 1.2 meters, I'd say, of this one. It has, some of it has been cut out, so the end of that one is not a straight end, but when I talk about lengths with these pieces of fabric, I'm talking about the usable length. If there's any hugely weird shapes in them, I will let you know. What have we got next? Okay, we have got this piece of fabric which has featured in a fabric haul, and when I put it in the fabric haul I was like, why did I buy it? I haven't a clue what to make out of it. And in all honesty, I still haven't a clue what to make out of it, so I'm going to pass the issue on to someone else. I still think it's amazing fabric. It's like a snake skin. Obviously it's not a snake skin, but in terms of the weight of it, it's kind of cotton lawn, polyester weight. It would make a fabulous lining, but also if you lined it, it would make an amazing jacket, like a bomber jacket or a faux motorbike jacket, because it does look like leather. So if you interfaced it with something really heavy, you could actually make it behave almost like leather, but it wouldn't sew like leather. It would be much easier to sew and to manipulate. So yeah, there are, I think there's 2 meters of this. There's plenty enough to make a dress. Oh no, there's 1.5 meters. And it is 1.5 meters wide, so there's plenty enough to make a dress or a jacket, or a skirt or a tunic, that kind of thing. Next in this box is some poplin for shirting. I made a shirt out of this, and this is what is left. Not the hugest amount, probably only enough for like a cami or to use as a scrap. So this is borderline whether it's a full garment or whether it's something for scraps, but it's a really nice fabric. It's a deep dark navy colour. Again, in terms of true colour, more like back here, but just so you can see the texture, I'm going to show you here. So it's not really got any texture. It's like a cotton poplin, and it's a really nice fabric to wear because I have a shirt that I wear all the time. So it's a lovely breathable fabric. So that is that one, still on box one. Next we have this, I think it's called seersucker when it has this texture to it. White seersucker, oops, excuse me. So this is the fabric. It's kind of a ivory white, not a pure brilliant white, and as you can see there's a stripe woven into it. Now it's a very long piece, there's 2 meters of it, but it's only, because of how I've cut out of it, it's only about 60 centimeters wide. The stripe actually goes from side to side, so this is a cross grain from my finger to my finger, and up and down as I'm moving it now is along the grain. So you could still probably cut a shirt out of this. You could definitely cut any kind of sleeveless top out of it. So it's a strange shaped piece, but there is still enough to make a decent sized garment out of that one. I think that is all the full pieces. There is one that's kind of borderline full piece, which is this viscose jersey. It's borderline full piece because I used this at Sewing Club and someone decided it was an excellent idea to cut a hole out of there. It's like you were always told at school, or we were, don't cut out of the middle of the paper. Well, they cut out of the middle of the fabric, but there is still just over a metre with that hole out of it, so you could get a t-shirt out of that. And of course, when I'm talking about all of this, I'm talking about adult size garments. So if you're looking at children's size garments, then clearly the fabric goes further. But that is a more of a coral colour. It's slightly less, it is very pink, but it's slightly less pink. The colours are not doing brilliantly today. And then, as you've been able to see as it's moved around, it is very drapey. So it's more of a coral pink than perhaps you're getting on screen. Depends on your settings at your end, to be honest. Right, now then, scraps. Well, not scraps, but for colour matching. These 4, I've put all of them in this box because I think they all kind of can work together. None of them are quite enough for a full garment. Certainly the white and the I'd say that's a stone beige colour and a white. Those two are really close to being enough for a t-shirt in a sort of UK 12 or lower size. The stripe here and the navy are what you could perhaps use for the sleeves, or you could start to colour block. So if you watch my top 10 patterns video, which is coming out after this one, so it depends how soon, a few days after, you'll see some of the ideas I've got. But the Muse pattern is really good. Let me show you. So this is the Jenna cardigan from Muse Patterns. This is my version of the pattern, and if I come in really close, you can see on the imagery there it has shoulder yokes and it has short sleeves. It is a cardigan, but there are hacks on their website to make it into a t-shirt, so it's a really versatile pattern. You get a lot for your money in this, and the reason why I like it for using up stash is because you can use those pieces there in a different colour to the rest. And what that does 2 things. Obviously it uses a small-ish piece here, but also it means that the length that you need for the body is less. On any t-shirt as well, you could cut a line across here and have a piece there and a piece there, and you could colour block it that way, and you could make that line any really. You'd need to think about how flattering it would be if you did it right across the nipple line. I think that would be a bit dodgy, but it's all a style choice, it's all personal preference, isn't it? So anywhere to here, or you could do a different colour for a hemband, couldn't you? So those 4 fabrics, you would definitely get at least 1 t-shirt out of it, and this is assuming that you don't have things at home that you can match these with. So that is those 4. We're still on box 1, coming towards the end of box 1. So the next jersey we have is this one, which it is a knit. It's like a sweatshirting weight, whereas the previous ones were drapey t-shirt weight. It's very soft. It doesn't have a massive amount of stretch. Now what I've made in this is the Fraser sweatshirt. In this pile there is quite a lot of fabric, and there are also quite a lot of smaller pieces because this has had a garment made out of it. Unusually for knit it does fray. So it doesn't fray massively, to be honest, but it does fray. So you could get, let's have a look what length is in here. Yeah, so there's, I'd say almost, if not a full metre of full fabric, and then quite a lot of bits and pieces folded into that. The end of this full metre is not a straight line, but that's a lot of sweatshirt fabric. So you could just make a basic sweatshirt, or you could use the Fraser pattern from Sewaholic, which again, that has shoulder insets here, and it has a shaped yoke, which again allows you to use a slightly smaller fabric to make a garment. I've got this fabric, which is a true knit fabric. It's like jump sweater fabric. Okay, so if you have a look at that, it's kind of a vivid lilac. No idea of the composition, but you can see it's a true knit because it's got the pearl on one side and the knit on the other side. It's a fairly small piece. It's about ½ a metre, but it's such an interesting fabric that even if you just wanted to practice with it, I reckon you could squeeze the body of a Jenna cardigan out of it. Maybe even the sleeves if you're really clever at cutting, but you'd probably have to do the cuffs and the neckband and all that differently. That's always what I thought I would do with it, a Jenna cardigan. Just never going to get round to it, so it's yours instead. Second to last, we're getting to the less, definitely not full garment pieces, just unusual. Now this is I've kept this because it just intrigues me. I made a jumper out of it. I made the jumper that way round, and it's really warm. But I kind of wish I'd used the other side. So it's the strangest thing. It looks so different, and I was never sure which was the right side. So that is one side, and that is the other side. And I have done a little bit of testing, and you can peel the dark grey off the white. So if you just wanted, there you go, you can peel it off. If you just wanted to use the white, you could just use this beautiful cobweb. Now there isn't a massive amount, so you definitely be, it has got a really interesting selvage as well, so it's got this really cobwebby selvage, but you could use it, you could even make a scarf, look at that, it's really nice. But you would be using it as a yoke, you might be using it as a sleeve, you might be using it as a neckline or a hemband. It's not the stretchiest thing, so it's a knit, but it's not it's a stable knit as they call them. So this is not a full garment at all. You've got some strange looking pieces, a lot of selvage. Okay, so you've probably got a couple of square feet to play with, some long bits and some larger pieces. But that's in box one, and the very last thing that is in box one is what I'm wearing. So I love this print. It was in my latest fabric haul. It's called Say Hi. I've got it from Minerva Crafts, and it's this one with the people looking, and then this guy here's going hi. I really, really love it, but I'm not going to make anything else with it. I've got this top, I really like this top, but I think it's the kind of thing, well, there aren't rules. You could have more than one thing in your wardrobe out of this, or you could not, however you want to do it. So the full length of this, there is only about 40 centimetres, that's upside down as well. There is then a long piece, which is about 1 metre long. That's about 40 centimetres. And then there are other smaller pieces, but this would be really, really great, for example, on a Fraser sweatshirt, or on the shoulder, or on a yoke, or just as a pocket on another sweatshirt, anything, a pocket on a t-shirt, because it's quite lightweight as long as you didn't hugely mismatch the fabrics. So there is some of this fabric in box one, and that is everything in box one. So I will insert a photograph of the box when I folded them again, because they're a total mess now, so you can remember what's in box one. We will move on and I'll show you what's in box two. So box number two, that would be 4. It's the same sort of mix. We've got wovens, we've got knits, we've got full garment pieces, we've got pieces, if that's the thing. So starting with the full garment pieces, we have got this blue stripe. This is gorgeous to wear. Oh, it's got some fluff on it. It's a cotton poplin weight, but it's brushed. I've got a shirt in it. I got this in Oregon from a vintage store, and I just love it, but I've got a shirt in it and I don't need another one. So there is about 1.2 meters of full width fabric. The fabric isn't super wide, it might only be 110 wide. Then there is another sort of 50 by 50 centimeters square at the back there. I'm going to go out a little bit. Probably should have done that earlier, never mind. So this is definitely, I think you could cut a shirt out of this in smallish sizes. It's great for pocket linings. I've used some like that, so it's brilliant weight for pocket linings. And you could make pyjamas. I thought about making pyjama trousers, but I don't really ever wear pyjama trousers, but it would be perfect fabric for that. So that is fabric number 1 in box number 2. Next we have got the linen fabric that I made my Jenny overalls in. This is lovely fabric, although it frays to death. Look at that. It frays like nobody's business. So if you get this box, just handle it with care to stop that fraying. Now there's about 90 centimeters of this full length, and then a few pieces. So you're looking at either a little jacket, or I had kept it to maybe make a a skirt or shorts, but it's lovely fabric. It's creased because it's linen. It's sort of an orangey red twill weave with white. When you wear it, it reads as light red, I'd say. So it's a really nice fabric to wear, very lightweight, and as long as you take account of the fraying, it's pretty easy to sew as well. So you've got that fabric. If you want to see it in person, then go and have a look at my Jenny Overalls videos. I'll try and remember to put a link up for you. Next we have, oh, we've got this gorgeous stuff. Now this is not pre-washed. Pretty much everything is pre-washed. This isn't. So it has got a bit of treatment on it because it's meant to be curtain fabric, but I always meant to make a skirt out of it. And it's bird print with butterflies and trees on it. I think it's lovely. But again, I'm never gonna get round to it. So you get it instead. So I love that bird, isn't it gorgeous? And then you've got all the woodland print on it. So I would say it's 1.4 meters wide, and I'd say it's about 1.5 meters long. It is stamped with imperfect on it, on the selvage, because I got it from a seconds factory store near Carlisle. But there isn't anything visibly wrong with this. They are imperfect for various reasons, but they have to put that on because they sell them at very deeply discounted prices. So don't be scared when you get this, but do pre-wash it. So it's quite stiff at the moment, and I'd always imagined kind of a 50s style skirt. But yeah, love that one. It's so nice. Next, I sewed with this ages ago, but I love what I have out of these, which is some Thurlow trousers. If you follow me on Instagram, I wore those just a few days ago. It has a slight stretch to it. It behaves like a twill weave, but it's not really a twill weave. Obviously that's a dog's tooth check. There's my thumbnail for scale. So it's a fairly large dog's tooth check. Can't say the words. I kept this because I always thought I might make a waistcoat or a vest if you are in North America, but I haven't, obviously. It would make a fairly short skirt because the length, it's got sort of, what's that, I'd say that's 60 centimetres length. It's a funny one because it stretches along the length, so actually you can use it with the grain line the wrong way around, because normally you would have stretch along the width, so it's a bit more usable like that. So you can make an A-line skirt out of this quite easily. You could make the waistcoat that I thought I would. You could make some shorts out of this. You could possibly cut a jacket if you're clever at cutting, but you've got that fabric matching to do. But it's a nice fabric to work with. It behaves really well. When you wear it, it doesn't crease. So I enjoy wearing the trousers that I've got out of that. So that is a dog tooth check, grey background and black pattern. Here we have another piece of wool. This piece is not quite as big as the piece in box 1, so this would really only be good for a skirt or again a waistcoat or children's clothes. But this isn't a wool, this is a polyester suiting. It feels exactly like the wool, to be honest, but this has the advantage that it has some stretch. It's not quite as itchy as the pure wool in box 1. So this one, it's quite a short piece. So honestly, this is probably something that you're going to have to piece together with something else. So that's really not a full garment piece, that one. We do have some more full garment pieces in this box. So next we have got this green canvas. Now this was in my recent fabric haul, and if you watched that you'll know I bought more than I needed because I bought the end of the roll. Now I have cut out what I need and there is quite a lot left, but it's in a funny shape. So there's about 1.5 meters left, but it's only about 40 centimeters wide. So you would get some children's trousers out of that, or a bag. This is a really good fabric for making a bag out of, actually, and it's really quite a good colour for a bag. There's that one. I thought I'd put these in order, but I've obviously put some of the not full pieces. So here's another full piece. It is a knit, and it would make a good cardigan. There is about 1.2 meters by 1.4 meters. It is it's a really soft knit on one side. It's quite an open knit, as you can see, because you can see the pattern of my jumper under it. It's got plenty of stretch, drapes really beautifully, so you could make a cowl neck top, for example. You could just make a scarf with it, to be honest. So that is what we've got there. There's a couple of extra pieces of that one. Here is, if you watch my videos, you'll have seen this. I've made my jumpsuit out of this optical print. This is great fabric to work with. You can use either side, so you have that on one side, ta-da, and then on the other side you get a suggestion of the pattern, and to be honest, in real life it's not even as visible as on camera. There is enough of this left to make a toaster sweater. There's quite a lot left, so there's a long piece there which you would definitely get sleeves out of. That's folded double, and then you've got a piece there that's about 80 centimeters that you could cut the body from. So you could get like a toaster sweater or another sweatshirt kind of fabric pattern out of it, or a hoodie. It's such a strong print, I just didn't want it twice in my wardrobe, but I do really like this. It washes and dries super easily. This is pre-washed. So yeah, this is a really great fabric. I told you this box was the more full-on pattern box, and that proves it. Another one that proves it, that you will have seen if you watch a lot, is this one. Do you remember that one? Yes. Again, love this, but don't think my wardrobe can stand it twice. So I made a Morris blazer out of this scuba fabric. I reckon there is enough for a skirt, or possibly a t-shirt or something like that. It's quite sort of synthetic feeling, so it's not summer wear, because it's not very breathable, but when you don't mind being a bit warm, then you're going to be fine with it. So I'd say there's at least 1.5 meters of it left. In fact, it's 1.5 meters wide, and there's about 1 meter of it. It's just not square. So there is a fair amount to play with to make a top or an above knee skirt. But it's a really nice fabric. It behaves really well when you sew it as well. So the bits and pieces that are in this box. First of all, there's some denim. You won't cut a skirt out of this, and it's really quite heavyweight denim, this one. So I had kept it for a bag. It hasn't got the same texture as the other one that I showed you that's in the other box. It's got more of the classic texture. It's a really dark colour. So if we go back there, it's blue, but it's really dark indigo. So it's rigid and it's heavyweight. So it'd be great for mending patches, or making a bag, or using as a patch pocket on another pair of jeans. So that is quite a good way to use denim. Have a different denim on the back. And if you're not a fan of the really dark colour, then the reverse of this is actually really light. So the reverse is like a almost undyed calico colour with the twill weave showing. So if you don't want a dark blue bag or whatever you're going to make, then you can have it in that colour. Or of course, if you dyed it, then this side will pick up the colour really well. So that is in box 2. Also in box 2, we're moving on to the jersey pieces now. Yeah, we've got this fabric, and there is about 60 centimeters in length of full length fabric. I'm holding that against my neck and it just goes to my hip line. But then there is also a longer piece that you could get a couple of short sleeves out of, and there are some bits and pieces. So actually you might get a full garment out of this, and if these colours are your colours, because they're definitely my colours, oh, love that. Normally I can just walk towards the camera, but with this I've got the box down there and I'm struggling. But anyway, so it's really nice, and you can even use it the other side, where again you've got less of the strong pattern but still the colour. That is that piece. Then you have some really nice brushed black sweatshirting. So it's got a fleece back and then it's got a classic knit, and it is quite a true black. It's coming up a bit charcoal on the camera, but it is quite a true black. There's a fairly large amount of this actually. You'd make a child's hoodie outfit. I don't think you'd make an adult's one. You'd have to piece it to make an adult's one. And if you wanted to, you could, for example, piece it with this purple. This is a bonded jersey. It doesn't have much stretch. I've made casual trousers out of it for hanging around the house. But the reverse is a black scuba kind of fabric. And then the front is more of a classic knit. There's not a lot of this, but it would make some sleeves, for example, or you could use the reverse with the other piece. And then the last three pieces, you will actually you won't recognise them at all from, yeah, these two you'll recognise from when I made my son's hoodies. So that is the blue of Bertie's hoodie and that is the grey of Felix's, and these would be good, for example, for making a hood or for making sleeves, something like that. And then last of all, this really nice quality t-shirt jersey, but unfortunately it's just a strange shape. So this was, one or two of these pieces are out of a bag of fabric that I inherited. This is really long. It's about 2 meters long, but it's only about 30 centimeters wide at any point. So you're looking at making bras, pants, children's things, t-shirt sleeves you could cut out of this, but I've put it in because the quality of the fabric is really nice and because it's such a great neutral colour, the navy. So that is the end of box 2. Again, I will put a photo of what's in box 2 in here. Don't know if you can hear that, someone started hammering next door. Anyway, that's the end of the video. My other 2 videos are going to come up really soon. And if you've got any ideas about things to do with fabric scraps, your favourite books about it, your favourite patterns, your favourite ideas, anything that you've been inspired by as you've been watching through this video, then please let me know. The all-important information about how you enter. You need to email me at joeysewy@gmail.com. It's down here. And just say, I want box 1, I want box 2, and tell me where you live. You don't have to give me your full address at that point if you're not comfortable to do that, but tell me the county and the country. So, for example, Cumbria in England, and then I know where I'm going to be posting the box to, just to make sure in case you, some people apply from outside the area. Does that make sense? Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back really soon with one of those other videos that I mentioned, and stay safe until then. Bye!